Welcome to Divinity 648's podcast. This podcast is sponsored by Anchor. Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast. It's completely free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. They will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So if you're ready to get started on your own podcast, feel free to download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Welcome to Divinity 648. This reading is a collective energy reading. There is no zodiac reference in this session. If the energy applies, great. If not, keep going. You might want to revisit this or see how it applies to someone that you're dealing directly with. Energetically, you have to look at yourself and ask yourself, what is keeping you motivated? What is keeping you going? Why are you filling up your routine or filling up your day to stay busy, right? Also, you want to reflect on some controlling energy that's been sitting around. Some of you guys are releasing the need to be in control. You're releasing the need to be involved. You're releasing the need to help and fix and be the glue that holds everything together. You're allowing yourself to sit back and say, I could be doing other things with my life and my time and be successful in other ways if I don't, or if I allow myself to detach from what no longer serves a purpose in my life, right? A lot of people are cutting cords from karmic or repetitive behavioral patterns that have not really been beneficial to them. A good example would be, let's say you poured yourself into something, and no matter how much you did for that situation or those people involved, you didn't receive the recognition that you deserved. So now you are able to intellectually rebirth yourself and remove yourself from anything that is a distraction or causes illusions or anything that is an external influence which is contradicting your inner truth, your inner knowing, right? And you're using this energy very wisely to recharge yourself and get yourself where you need to be. You're making your moves in silence. You're grounding your energy and you're releasing yourself from patterns and behaviors, and you're shifting your vibration so that way you can almost be in this successful energy. It's like this, what they thought they knew about me, they have no idea. I completely changed on levels that they can't even imagine. Nor did they ever take a moment to stop and ask. They just made their assumptions, right? They weren't giving the appropriate recognition. And because of that, it kind of propelled you or motivated you to do these things in such a way that just aided you in this forward movement. So into the reading now, right? A lot of situations. For those of you who are sitting in this energy of abundance, wow, right? It's like you had the resources that you needed to get the things that you needed to get done. It doesn't matter how it came to you, and you used it wisely. You did what you were supposed to be doing. Bills got paid, responsibilities got handled. We didn't go out and throw money away. We did what we had to do, right? So because of that energy, which is the complete opposite of what people have looked at you to be true for you, you are now in this vibrating very high and successful type of energy, right? You are here because at one point you were not able to do what you needed to do. You lost that faith within yourself. You had lost that, you were so busy pouring all of yourself into other individuals that you forgot to take care of yourself. And then that became your normal routine. And it was so hard to break that routine and get back to taking care of you and making you the priority. But now that you're finally here, and when you look around, people who are so used to seeing you as the person who does not stand on green grass are kind of in shock because now you're on thick, luscious ground. And it's kind of like, how, when, and what the fuck kind of energy coming from their side of things. Um, for those of you who can understand that energy, okay, be aware, be aware of those who did not give you the respect and the attention that they should have been giving you from day one. Do not allow that this is a sign, or he's the one, or she's the one, and I'm finally getting what I've been praying for all these fucking years, blind you from the past, right? Don't forget, don't forget here that you started off with this luscious, thick green grass underneath you. And as you interacted with other individuals, you started planting your grass seeds elsewhere instead of continuously nourishing the grass beneath you. And while you were busy helping that individual flourish, while you were supporting and taking care of those other people in whatever way that you were doing this, it's up to you to decide where this applies. They started to see other people's grass be greener and more nourished than yours. It didn't matter that yours was being neglected because you were growing grass under them. It didn't matter that, yeah, the grass was green under them and they didn't do the fucking work, right? Everything came easy for them and they didn't stop to question why, right? So now that illusion is gone, and now they can see why. And now that the grass is back to being thick and luscious under you, you have to make sure you hold people accountable and you ask them why. Why now and not before? Why do you want me now when before you were so busy entertaining everybody else? Right? Why do you want to give me this promotion now when you weren't willing to compensate me, respect me the way that I deserved as an employee or coworker in the past? What changed now that all of a sudden you want to do what you should have been doing this entire time? That is the number one energy that everybody should be clinging on to at this time, especially with all this retrograde. You need to know why. I understand why, right? We know that the illusion is gone and they've got that clarity and they can see, they can physically see that through all the poverty, through all the hardships, through all the bullshit, through all the family drama, through all the backstabbing, deceit, and other low vibrational toxic energy, you still were able to come out on top with thick, luscious grass. Because once you detached and allowed yourself 5, maybe 7 days of just meltdown, right? You were able to realize your damn self, well, fuck it, I'll do it myself kind of energy. and you just started pulling yourself back together. You started cutting cords. You started taking care of your energy. You stopped eating toxic, heavy foods. You stopped entertaining social media heavily. You stopped being focused on tangible physical things and was more involved in inner shadow work, whether you realize it or not. And that's how your grass was able to grow, because you fed yourself. You took care of yourself. And if they couldn't be the person that you needed them to be by seeing that your grass was getting dull, instead of them watering you and feeding you, they went out and entertained the other grasses, right? They went out and hung out in the other yards, right? But now they want to come back to yours because they realize the grass wasn't greener over there, right? And their shit isn't the way that it used to be when you were busy taking care of it, right? Do you see the metaphoric here? Do you see the energy here? You got to be careful with people who are coming back from your past, or people who are trying to improve their tendencies now. And it's not whether or not they deserve forgiveness. It's whether or not they know how to answer you when you ask them. Why? And not just why now and not before, but what exactly was it that made you realize you no longer wanted to be on that other person's front lawn, right? What exactly happened? You want to know, what are all the situations that took place that finally brought that person to the realization that their better choice or the better decision for them was you? You know, you want to know what exactly took place. You don't want to, and I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, I don't even want to know. No, you do. You do. You want to know what this person had to endure. You want to know what they've been through. You want to know why they had a change of heart and a change of perspective. You want to know what they experienced when the illusion fell off, right? You want them to be just as fucking vulnerable as you have been that entire time. Not because it's vindictive or it's getting revenge, but because you have to have a balance in energy. You allowed yourself to be vulnerable to that person. They don't get to just come back, give you that promotion, give you that raise, give you your job back. All of a sudden they want to drop their case. No, fuck that bullshit. Accountability. Because there's something called karmic law, and people don't always learn the lesson that they need to learn until they're held accountable and asked to explain what the lesson was. This way, everybody's on the same page and nobody has an upper hand, and the energies are balanced because everybody's cards are shown, right? Basically, everybody's cards are on the table and you can see everybody's hand. That's why you want to know why and all of the things that led up to the why. So that way, when you make your choice of whether or not you want to revisit or not revisit a situation, or accept the job promotion, or stay at that job instead of moving forward in your life, right? You need all that background information so that way that decision that you're about to make can be a solid one that was made knowing the motive behind the decisions on the other side. Why are you giving me this promotion? Why do you want to give me this job? Is it because you found out that you can't have what you had in me in another employee? Not even close. You'd have to pay triple or double the salary to multiple people to get the same job done that you were able to get done with just me, and you realize that you insulted me, disrespected me, and shitted on my value, and now here you come acting like you have this golden fucking opportunity that I can't turn down, when in reality, the truth of the matter is you're fucking hurting without me, correct? Or for another set of you, the energy is um you poured yourself into someone, loved the shit out of them. I mean, like, fuck yourself, fuck your health, the hell with anything to do with who you are. Any and everything about you was them. Is it beneficial? Will it help them? You don't want to be a burden. You don't want to cause them stress. You don't want to be the reason why they have any type of frustration. You never want to argue. You never want to be the problem. You always want to be the solution. So you go out of your way, you do things even without even telling them to make sure that their days and their path are that much better. And right along, they're busy entertaining whoever the fuck else they felt like was better than you, whether physically, sexually, intimately, I don't really care. And now they're looking back and they're realizing that they should have chose you. Well, you need to know, what was it in that person that you saw in them that made you think that they were a better priority over me? And what happened between then and now for you to make a decision and an understanding and know that that wasn't true? Either, and this is going to, you'll know how this applies, and I'm calling the different paths that I'm seeing. Either the person that they chose over you had an affair, got pregnant by somebody else, and their relationship is shit, or ending, right? Or ended. Some of you, they realized that their supposedly other better choice, right? The successor before you ended up being a fucking gold digger who spends money uncontrollably, has no fucking discipline or fucking morals or any type of respect or value for currency and what it is to fucking work for your money, right? So there's debt, there's hardship of some kind. Or all of it, both energies and more. Because the other path feels like both of those situations played its part, and it's like a draining of energy. It just feels like I'm chasing my tail. I have to bust my ass, and you don't even know the half of it, and this, it's like you need to know why this person chose that person over you, what they continuously were doing or not doing, or what all of a sudden came to the surface, or what all of a sudden became their truth, for them to realize that they'd rather be with you. And then for another section of people, excuse me, I almost missed this path. Oh, for a lot of people, you got tired of sitting around playing second fiddle. You found yourself, you loved yourself, and you started to retreat. You started to take care of yourself. You started to water your grass. You pulled yourself back from them because they weren't matching your energy and you want more. And they continuously told you that they weren't going to give you more, which made you feel like, okay, either I put up with this more, which is not fulfilling to me, and which shouldn't have been allowed according to all of these retrogrades and planetary shifts. You should have been in that situation to become empowered and decide, fuck that, no thank you. I'm moving on. There's somebody out there who would rather be with me, right? Like, if everything and everyone else is a fucking priority, there's got to be somebody out there who fucking wants me to be theirs, right? So I'm not going to put up with this and I'm going to move on. And because you're not putting up with it and you are moving on, they're triggered, they're panicking because they don't want to lose you. They don't want to let you go. They know you're the better choice of the two or three. And for some people, there's even four. So they're getting their shit together and doing what they have to do so they can come towards you with a loving, committed relationship or matching you in the areas that you were requesting. And now for another part of you, it's going to be all three. It's going to be all of that. So you've got that first energy, right? You got the second energy of I don't even know because we're so far past all that stuff. But the bottom line is, if you look back at all of that and all of that made sense to you, you definitely want to ask why, right? You definitely want to hear it. Because if you had to endure all that fucking shit and be going through all that hardship, you want to know why. You need closure. And if you try to skip that closure part and take them back and start over and build this happy, never ending relationship with them, right? Because you found forgiveness for them, you love them. Why not? You've made it this far. You know, you've put up with this much. Why not give them that opportunity, right? Because you wanted this. This is everything you've asked for. This is your wish come true, right? So don't you need that closure first? Otherwise, you're going to go through that relationship wondering, questioning, checking, looking, doubting. So you need that clarity. You need that understanding. So that way, when you move forward in this relationship, in this situation, there's none of that. There's that cloud nine type energy. There's that it's me and you. We overcame this. I know your part, you know my part. We've seen both sides. We know one another's vulnerabilities. Now you can go forward, right? Now you can have that raw, fresh start. And there shouldn't be room for questions or doubts. And if there is, then you're with the wrong person. Because a harmonious, happy, loving relationship, yeah, it takes work, but you shouldn't have inner conflict. The conflict part should be anything external from your relationship. It should never be the relationship. If there's inner conflict, there's a problem, right? So collectively, the grass just wasn't fucking greener. And a lot of you need to be careful if you understand this energy, because I feel like some are going to just pop up for a random, you know what, I think I'm going to spend the night. And the next thing you know, you're fucking pregnant. And they're doing this because they don't want to lose you. Or they're doing this because they want to hold you in that place. They want to give you that hope. They want to buy themselves some fucking time. And that's bullshit. That's bullshit, right? Because you've had sex how many times? And you never got pregnant? And now all of a sudden you got your shit together. You're tired of waiting. You're tired of being somebody's plan B. You're ready to, there you go, plan B. Not, I'm pro choice. Sorry, not sorry. But you're tired of being somebody's backup plan. So they rush in and get you pregnant, and now you're sitting here, single mother, knocked up in your own home. Well, he's still over there entertaining the other subjects. I need more time. I need more time. You better watch yourself with that. And then for others of you, you need to be careful because you might go out and start dating, and when your back is turned, they're sabotaging your relationships. They're interfering with your potential, right? Guys could find out that their ex is inboxing the girl that they're dating, right? You could be dating multiple girls, and every time you go out on a date, there's no second date, or you somehow, some way find out that there was some type of deceitful energy going on, where your ex is Facebook stalking any and everybody that you're talking to, or if you really get close to someone and you really start to like someone, your this other energy, whatever their role is to you, your ex, your friends with benefits, your baby daddy, whatever is going on, that person could be sabotaging in a way where they're causing drama, bringing fights, arguments, slashing tires. Excuse me, slashing tires for some people. Just be careful, just be mindful of that, right? So that's the warnings I was getting for you. I want you to be careful with pregnancy unless you want one, right? And if you do randomly get pregnant, you want to know why. Like, why am I pregnant and you're still over there with her? Are you fucking nuts? Because I never got pregnant before. Why am I now? Now that I'm moving on. That's very specific for someone. Don't let nobody get you pregnant while they're still entertaining somebody that you're leaving them or moving forward because of, right? It's like you want your cake and you want to eat it too. And you'd rather see me sit here stuck stagnant, waiting on you than having that opportunity to be happy too. Are you fucking nuts? Who wants to live like that? Um, so collectively, the grass wasn't greener on the other side, and people are scrambling to figure it out. Now, another set of you who can understand the grass isn't greener energy is dealing with a completely different dynamic. It's more like, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. It's job. It's love life. It's legal stuff. It's like it feels so heavy. It feels so heavy because somebody needs somebody to do something legal wise right now, and they're not going to get what they want, not without paying out of pocket quite some lump sum or, going through it. Because the person who can make things very easy for them, or, somehow, some way, karma's done its job, right? It's like landlord tenant cases where it comes out that the landlord wasn't the one that was in the right but yet in the wrong, and now the tenant's on top and have the upper hand, and the landlord has to basically insert that foot in their mouth because they fucked up, and now they know that they did wrong, and now they've basically, their tenant has them by the fucking balls, right? And then you've got family matters where you've got certain family members who want to come and be involved but can't because they know how much shit they've done, or how much backstabbing they've done, or the wrong that they did, or whatever caused the fallout. It's like I can't even, I need you, and I can't even come to you and tell you that I need you because of all that I've done that was wrong. And it's a heavy, heavy feeling. But if they do get the courage and they do come to you, right, and they are looking for forgiveness, one, you should always forgive no matter what. Not even, I want to, oh, here we go. Forgive, really? Like, you don't even know the half of what they've done, and I can't forgive. But here's the deal, right? Forgive. Not necessarily because they deserve it, but because you do. You deserve that forgiveness. You deserve that healing that comes from forgiveness. That think of forgiveness as the key to healing and moving on. You don't necessarily forgive people because they deserve the forgiveness. You forgive them because karmically you need that closure on that situation so that way you can move forward, right? And forgiving doesn't mean being a sucker. It doesn't mean laying down. It doesn't mean being stupid. It doesn't mean being foolish. And it doesn't mean being taken advantage of. Finding forgiveness just means that you've healed, you're letting this go, you're not going to be bitter, you're not going to be aggressive towards the situation in 6 months, right? Um, so find that forgiveness and heal and move on. But also at the same time, make sure you're applying accountability fairly, because I'd hate to see someone be a sucker, and it's like, I forgave you, I gave you a second chance, and you did it again. No, 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 no. There's a reason why people do 90-day probational periods at jobs, right? You want to give people enough time to get comfortable, show their true colors, give them room to slip up and show themselves. Okay? This is the perfect season because we're in retrograde. And when you see that somebody's consistent, then you know that they're deserving of that second chance. Then you know they're actually deserving of that forgiveness. But make no mistake, depending on your situation, not everybody that comes back needs to be back, right? It's like those exes who realize the grass isn't greener on the other side, or like that song, My X's and O's, They Haunt Me, right? I don't know why that song just came to me. It's like in their minds they're haunting you, right? In their minds, intellectual realm, they're pulling on your energy, which is why you randomly start thinking of them when you've completely moved on. So it's like you have to take a deep breath and remember, I'm thinking of this person not because I'm meant to go back to them, because maybe they're going through a karmic lesson where they're regretting the things that they've put me through one way or another, one situation or another. They're reliving it, they're regretting it. That's why I'm thinking of them. Or maybe something beautiful happened and it made them remind them of me, right? It doesn't mean you need to pick up that phone call and see what's going on. It just means, okay, like, have I healed anything from here? Like, why is this person coming up in my head? I don't have any bad feelings for them. Great. Moving on. I don't need to reach out to them. No fucking way. Right? Sometimes, sometimes, the energy will feel more like if you are moving on, I will also feel, I'm feeling like when you move on and you meet someone who's similar to the one that you just walked away from, you want to just ask them certain questions, right? Ask them certain questions that remind you of the past person. Like, oh, you're into this profession? You don't necessarily need to tell them that the last person was in that profession, but you want to ask them, how long have you been in this profession? What do you like about it? Oh, okay. I'm just curious. And then you want to think about the other person, right? And how long and what they liked about it, right? You don't want to just see what people are saying to you. What you want to do is you want to read in between the lines. And you want to use those that third eye vision and look for red flags. Oh, you like MMA, mixed martial arts? Oh, no kidding. You like to go to the fights at the casino? How long have you been doing that for? Oh, well, you don't have to say anything out loud, but you already know that your person was doing that. And I know it's not fair to stereotype or judge other people and accuse them of being like your ex or soon to be ex or whatever, right? It's not good. But that's why you ask questions. You observe. You pay attention. You use that third eye for red flags. You ask questions and look for the red flags. And if you don't see them, then you proceed. And you do this over 90 days time. And don't be afraid to ask them a question you asked them 90 days ago. I wouldn't even stop at 90 days. I'd go to like 220 days. I like to go as far out as 220 days. And I like to uh, look for red flags. I like to see the signs. I like to see the progressive energy. I don't like to be stagnant. I can't be stagnant, right? As an energy sensitive, I cannot be stagnant. It is not possible for me. I'm sensitive to energy. So as the moon changes, I change. I change perspectives. I change intellectually, right? Because think about it, the moon, high seas, low seas, rough seas, calm seas. We are water, primarily fluid in our bodies. If the moon can affect a massive body of water, you better know it could affect your smaller body of water, right? So the moon passes through zodiac signs, and each time You should be changing your perspective. You should be seeing things in a different light based on whatever energy influence is going on in the other planetary alignments. So you really want to be very careful, especially during this Mercury, um, oh gosh, retrograde and all this nonsense. You really want to be slow with decision making. Don't rush into things just because it's something that you've wanted for such a long time. You got to ask the whys. Um, a lot of you in this energy may be looking or focused on moving forward, that you're not even going to give the people of the past any more of your time. When you meet the new person, you want to ask questions. You want to know why, right? You want to see how they respond, not to tell them about your past, but because you want to understand them on a different level of things. And you want to make sure you're doing or making the best choice for you. You want to make sure this person isn't going to waste your time. Are they capable of giving you the things that you need? Because now you're starting fresh. And then there's the other of you who are going to give the past person a second chance. And again, with the why, you want to know why. So that way, moving forward, you're not questioning and having inner conflict in that continuous dialogue. You're able to just enjoy the relationship, but you're not blinded to the bullshit because you've been through it all. You know, that's the pros of sticking with what you know. Sticking with what you know until you absolutely can't anymore is something that I tell every client, because if you've given it everything you have, and you have to walk away because there is no progress and it's not a good environment, you already have that closure. You don't even need to have the conversation with them. You have your closure. You've given it everything you had, and there's nothing left to give here. So now you can move on. Or, right, you take them back, you forgive them, they're doing everything they can, and they turn out to be nothing that you thought or nothing that you feel is worth moving forward through, right? And I feel like somebody's going to do that. I feel like somebody's going to enter a commitment with a past person, and then they're going to regret it. And I feel like that's because you didn't ask the question why. And then when things started playing out, that bitterness, that anger inside of you that you never really healed from because you never really did the forgiveness, it's going to push you to the point where you can't entertain them at all, and you walk away from that relationship. And now you leave that person somewhat damaged because they finally overcame that fear of being vulnerable to the opposite person by showing everything, like laying all their cards out. And then they change their whole life for you, and then you walk away, right? So now they're damaged and they're never going to do that again. So it's important to ask why up front. And if you're hearing this and you're the one moving forward, it's important for you to give them the why. Don't wait for them to ask, just give it. If you're on the other side of this energy, because I don't know which role you're playing, this is collective. So there's sides to this. If you're on the other side of this situation, it's important for you to volunteer the why. Because that person needs to know all areas, all aspects of the situation so they can make the best decision forward. You don't want any surprises coming up later on where they find out certain things that you experienced and it brings up the ghosts of the past for them and they have to relive it. And now they're seeing like the why, and they're kind of feeling a certain kind of way inside, right? You want to do all that up front. So when the exes come back to sabotage the relationship, or the baby mamas start throwing their stuff around and acting all like junk, they already know everything. There's no surprises, there's no secrets. It's kind of like, hit me with your best shot. I guarantee you're not going to surprise me because he's told me everything, you know? That's one thing I will give my ex-husband credit for, right? And this is a good example. My ex-husband uh, and I separated while I was still pregnant with my child, right? So I'm that I'm that very much cold energy. Like when listen, if you put me in a very bad place, I have no problem cutting you off. And my fallback game is so disgusting. You could be standing on the side of me and I don't even fucking know you. I won't even recognize you. You become a stranger to me without me even acknowledging it. Like if I'm saying I'm done, I'm done. I won't even recognize you. Somebody has to point you out to me because I'm that done, right? So I pulled that shit with my kid's father before she was born. And I felt bad. And I kept reaching out through someone I knew to be a mutual person, being my cousin, saying, when you see him, give him my number. Like, he can be there. Like, I don't want to, leave it like that. I want to do the right thing. So every time I would see her, I would follow up with her. Mind you, I was like around 8.5, 9 months pregnant. And she would smile in my face. I got her a job, all this greatness. And she would look back at me and she would just be like, no, I didn't see him. No, I didn't see him. But then 5 years later, right? Here's what I mean about giving them the whys up front. 5 years later, I'm going into my nephew's birthday party, and my cousin was sitting there on the kitchen table chair, and she looks over at us, and right away, my now ex-husband grabs me and pulls me to the hallway by ourselves, freaking the fuck out. How do you know her? How do you know that bitch? And I was like, oh, that's my cousin. Why? And then he tells me these things that, basically her behavior, and that he asked her if she knew me, and she said no. And he didn't know that we were cousins because we're not a close family like that. I didn't grow up with my father's family. So at the time, I'm over here pregnant. She's aware he's the father of my child, and she knows I'm trying to reach out to him. She has his number stored in her phone, doesn't give it to me, but reaches out to him and pursues him sexually. But him being smart enough to give the wise up ahead, he let me know what the hell was going on, right? So when she would try to do like a housewarming party, come hang out with me, it was kind of like, I know who you are. So I'm bringing this back up because somebody's going through something very similar. And I feel like you need to give this person the whys now, because you don't know when, but sometime soon, something's going to come up. Somebody's going to cross paths with your partner. And it's going to be like, wait, what? What happened? And then you're going to look like the fool because you couldn't be adult enough to say it up front, right? You don't want this person to go to the store and be approached by someone and be completely off guard. Like, by the way, I have a child with so and so, if you didn't know. Oh, okay. So that's another situation that somebody's going to be going through, right? You don't want, if you have a child with someone, okay, hold on. I love these channelings. So somebody has a pregnancy with someone. Ah, someone is pregnant by someone, right? And you're okay. So okay, let's say well, I'm gonna step in the guy's role for a minute. So he gets this woman pregnant because he wasn't being faithful or loyal, because he wasn't fulfilled in his relationship at all. Um, but he's comfortable. So he goes and he gets someone pregnant, and that girl or woman knows her role. She knows there's other people involved, right? for some of you. And then for some of you, you don't know that there's another woman involved, but you're pregnant and you're out walking around. Two different situations here. One, someone's going to see the person that you're with, and they're going to see that that person is probably pregnant and they had no idea, and you were kind of playing both ends of it. And that person's not going to react very well because you weren't man enough to let them know that you got somebody pregnant. And for them to find out in such a way is the icing on the cake, and they're going to snap. And it's going to be very fucking ugly if you let that happen that way. On the other hand, someone got somebody pregnant, being in another relationship with someone else, and that other person who is pregnant knew about him being in the relationship with someone else, and the one that you're in the relationship kind of is out and about and hears through somebody else that this person's pregnant by you. Now they're going to be feeling some type of way because they couldn't hear that from you. That girl knew about her in her role with you and continued to keep this child, right? Didn't exercise plan B or anything. So there's a child, an innocent child being brought into the world by two people who are not together and are not going to be together. But your wife or your girlfriend or your fiance or your common law marriage type situation is now feeling some type of way because the person you did it with somehow, some way is sharing a social circle, or there's mutual, somehow, some way there's a mutual circle where it somehow just gets back to her, you know? And for some of you, this isn't a new child. Some of you, this child could be 2 years old, looking like you or looking like one of your kids, and your wife is sharing a social circle somehow, some way with this person, or you're at like a public event and or at school, and the kids look so much alike, and then she looks up at the mother who's picking up the other kid, and she looks at you and she's like, isn't that your ex-girlfriend? Didn't you used to have a fling with her? Or didn't you cheat on me a long time ago with her? Why does her kid look like mine? Kind of thing, is what I'm seeing. It's kind of, and it gets crazy at that point, right? Because now this person is infuriated because of the boundaries and the disrespect and the fact that her life has been a lie. So that's a lot of different energies, but that's all the different situations that are kind of branching off from the grass isn't so green on the other side. Collective energy. And I'm going to continue the other energies that are coming through, and they might affect you or not, but these are just the different energies that are flowing through to deliver the various karmic vibes that are due, right? It's that harvest season that we're feeling. So you might want to check out the other ones if the titles jump out at you, but if not, no big deal. To schedule a private session, you can go to divinity648.com. Booking is all done online, and sessions are only available right now by audio or video chat. I use the service of Zoom, or if you have an Apple product, we can do, nope, stop.